I remember being in my bedroom. I think I was about 13 years old or something. I kind of got obsessive over this song, but I never bought it. It was handed to me, or I stole it, maybe, from my dad. And I loved the melody and I loved the lyric. And again, it's really emotional. It was something that really triggered me. And I would just listen to it on repeat. And the production was really, really sparse. Everything that happened on it was really significant. Also playing the B-side, because it was just a single. You've got this incredible emotional A-side, and then the B-side was called Dirty Postcards. And it was awful. It was awful. And it destroyed everything, like that beauty that I felt through the music.
Throughout the journey of a song that you're writing, you've talked a lot about emotion, and once the track's been recorded and released, or once it's finished in your writing space or in the studio, you've talked about how much you invest yourself, both mentally and physically, in writing a tune by stripping them all down and creating this jigsaw of music with the lyric, the melody, and everything else that goes into a track. Once it's completed, what emotion do you feel then?
I usually feel relieved, but if I don't feel that I've completed it, it's annoying that sometimes you have these time constraints.
Oh, really? What, by the record company put time constraints on you, or the artist?
Well,
or in
it's
yourself?
just people expect you to do something in a day, you know.
In a day? Behave. Crikey.
Yeah, and so sometimes you walk away and you feel really restless because you know that you haven't necessarily completed it. It's not perfect.
It feels like you know what you've created before you've painted it.
It is. It's really weird. It is weird. You're trying to just give birth to something that is already going to have a life, and you just want to, you know, make sure that it is born with the best chance, you know, to succeed.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, if you're co-writing, then it's a collaborative situation and you need to be open to changing things. I mean, recently I've been working more with artists and...
In a one-to-one environment?
Yeah, and they want to, you know, make sure that they feel that the song represents them.
Right.
And then you kind of have to take a role of tiptoeing around.
Is that difficult for you?
I resent it.
I was going to say, you can say yes.
If it works well, it shouldn't be difficult. You should just complement each other.
Right.
And you should be able to bounce off somebody else's ideas. It should be a really inspiring situation. And I think if you've got kind of negativity and destructive forces coming into play, it's probably not going to work very well.
Yeah, I would imagine that slows down the cogs, the creative cogs, right?
Yeah, I've worked with some artists who are taking the role that I normally would have, which is, well, I do this and do you mind kind of giving me some elbow room, you know? But then when it's them, well, then they've got the right to do that and you're just kind of more of a cog.
What in your career, with everything that you've done and all the awards that you've won and all the accolades, the people that you've worked with, what are you most proud of?
I think I'm proud of my work ethic. You do get luck, undoubtedly, but I do feel that you have to work really hard. You have to be obsessive, and I have been, and I still am, and that's what I'm proud of. I've worked as hard as I could. I haven't cheated, you know?
Oh, I like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like that. Which takes us on to the next tune by Stevie Wonder. Tell us what you've picked and why you've picked this. Okay, well, I'm an enormous Stevie Wonder fan, and I love this song. I Don't Know Why I Love You. Really. To London already signed, or did you move to London hoping to be signed? Because at 17, you signed to Simon Fuller's management company, right?
My publishing deal came before I got my record deal. It took me 3 years to get a record deal.
So you were signed on your music writing capabilities? more than your performing capabilities. Is that right? Or is it the other way around?
Yeah, well, initially I went and had meetings with the record labels with some songs that other people had written, and I didn't like them. And I just felt like they weren't right for me. And so I realised that if I wanted to have hits, I was going to have to create them. Because of my parents being musicians, I was exposed to huge amounts of music from probably the age of 4 until 17. And then by then I'd developed my own tastes.
Did they give you an instrument to play? Did they say, go and learn the piano, go and learn the guitar?
I was given a flute. A magic flute.
Don't tell me that everything that you've created has started off on the flute.
I'm amazed at what Lizzo's doing with her flute. But no, I would plonk around on the piano when I was younger. My dad was a pianist and we had a couple of pianos. You know, instead of like having normal pieces of furniture, we didn't have a sideboard. We had a couple of pianos.
Right.
I knew that there was a huge connection for me with music. I always knew that the piano, if it was being played well, was a huge trigger for me emotionally.
So that emotion is really the driving force between you being creative when it comes to your music and your back catalogue of hits.
Emotion is definitely a part of it. I love the grind of working hard.
How long does it take you to create, let's say, Toxic? How long did that take?
Well, that took me a week.
Oh, behave yourself.
So I did the melody and the lyric on that song.
Hang on, Cathy, it took you a week.
Yeah. So the music was already done, okay? So
Yeah.
I go into the studio and then I did a melody, which everybody really liked. And then it was a case of knowing that I hadn't quite got there with the lyric yet.
Right.
I had the Toxic idea, but I knew that I hadn't flushed it out of my system competently.
So there were more layers to peel back before you found what the lyric was going to be for that tune.
I mean, it was just a case of, for a week, writing it, rewriting it. I had like about 30 pages of lyric.
Do you keep everything? Oh, come on. No.
No.
Oh, why not? All those books, all those binders, all those folders.
The only thing I've got, strangely enough, is from my first record as an artist. That's the only thing I've kept.
Is it?
And nobody really cares about that.
Oh, man. Are you always writing?
Always writing.
Always have a pen in hand, always see something, write it down, make a note?
Yeah. When I'm out, then I note stuff in my phone, but I'm always thinking about titles, concepts.
Oh, I love it. So Peter Gabriel's Sledgehammer, because it is a big tune. Now, we're moving on to the Pet Shop Boys and West End Girls. This is a great...
3 or 4 bars.
Yeah.
It's got you.
It has.
It's got you.
It really has. And is that something that's in the Cathy Dennis cooking pot of hits? That you have to get someone straight away? Because let's take Can't Get You Out of My Head. The first time I heard Can't Get You Out of My Head, when it finished, you want to hear it again? Play it again. What was that? Play it again. Because there's something hypnotic about that tune. And it's the same with I Kissed a Girl. Play it again. Play it again. There's something in your music that just makes you jump on board that train and not want to get off.
Since you've used that analogy of the cooking pot, I definitely do see that my life's work has been about all these tiny, weeny moments where I've thought to myself, oh, I like that. Oh, I need to do that. You know, and I've spent so much time happily. Nile Rodgers and Bernard Edwards were just incredible and so inspiring. And I remember this tune and just like dancing really emphatically. Interestingly enough, when you see the video, they look like they're really holding back. You know, like the whole song is like freak out. Well, I guess they just made this video and they didn't know it was going to be a massive, massive dance tune that would live for generations. So, yeah, I love dancing. I've always loved clubbing. And this takes me back to my teens and just having a whale of a party.
Have you met Nile Rodgers?
I hate saying this, but I worked with Nile Rodgers on my first album.
Oh, really?
Yeah, he produced some of my first album.
Wow.
Yeah, and I even was lucky enough to have Bernard Edwards